Hey, everyone. Andy Hall here. We're talking about a bunch of topics today. Maybe some controversial topics, maybe not. Maybe not. But let's start off with a joke.
I got the permanent job in a law firm, and I was there for quite a bit. And I didn't tell them at first that I was autistic, so the job was quite hard. And then I did tell them, and they helped with a few things, but things got quite bad. And when it came to my probation, my manager said that I asked too many questions. And that's what autistic people do. We like to ask too many questions to get that thing right. And then in this probation meeting, there was also someone from HR on the video conference. And they said, "Do you have any questions?" and I said no. And then I turned to my manager and said, "Do I ask too many questions now, you little prick?" So I left that job, and then I did.
Well, I hope that put a smile to your face. On your face? On your face. I hope that put a smile on your face. It did with me. Yeah. Good morning, Tobin. Hope you're doing well this morning. See that you have internet again. That's good. John Hudson, pleasure to have you here. And Robert Unknown X. Great to have you with us. And everyone else who's just hanging out in the chat. Welcome. Hello. My name is Andy Hall. This is the morning show. We share laughs. We share news. A little bit of opinions. We're an opinionated show here. People have opinions in the chat. I have my opinions. We share opinions. And I think that's a great segue. I think that's a great segue to the question of the day. Now, you've noticed the name of this episode is A2, Joss Whedon. And yeah, there's actually, the classical, Julius Caesar, A2, Brute, Caesar getting stabbed. Everyone knows, or most people know, that Joss Whedon is a Shakespeare fan. He did this beautiful black and white movie, Much Ado About Nothing. But I have not come here to praise Joss Whedon. I have not. Let's just get to the question. Derek Cruz, how you doing? Is fandom in and of itself an evil? Is it kind of evil? I'm going to change my camera because you guys are seeing alike. There we go. Is fandom in itself evil? Now, hear me out on this. There is an argument to be made that fandom is an evil thing. I wrote out a few lists of people who had a lot of fans and still have a lot of fans. Let's see. Jesus, a lot of fans. At the time, Mussolini, he had a lot of fans too. Woody Allen, many fans. I was a fan of Woody Allen. And Joss Whedon. Joss Whedon. We're going to be covering the Joss Whedon story, but there are allegations, and they seem to be pretty well substantiated, accusations against Joss Whedon. And you just got to go on the internet for 5 minutes and check out different fan sites. There are flame wars between which version of the Hulk is best, Superman versus Thor, new Superman versus Thor, old school Superman versus Thor. They're just insane arguments. So is fandom in itself evil? It's no. Thank you, Gary Priestley. And I just want to say this, Simply Secular, how you doing? Of course, if you're a fan of mine, then that's okay, right? This is an absurdity factory, by the way. This is an absurdity factory. We're not just talking about serious issues, but there's an absurdist twist to all this conversation. Wow, Simply Secular, you are like burning the candle at every end, maybe at every end. But when something, and I guess the reason why I feel like I need to ask this question is that I was a big fan of Joss Whedon. I just sat down and watched Much Ado About Nothing, that black and white version that Joss Whedon did a couple of weeks ago again. I just saw, sometimes I'll just go on Buffy the Vampire Slayer, and just catch an episode. I had some songs from the musical episode, which I think is one of the best episodes on TV ever. Once More with Feeling. I had those songs going through my head. And then the accusation came out, I think it was yesterday, by Charisma Carpenter, talking about Joss Whedon's abuse of power while on set. And then Michelle Trachtenberg came out and talking about stories too. And then there was Whedon's behavior on Justice League. And, I've always thought that I was a second commandment atheist in a certain way. The second commandment is that you shouldn't be making idols, right? We shouldn't be making idols. And I didn't even and I knew maybe that I was making an idol of Joss Whedon in my mind, but I kind of gave it a pass because he's such a great artist. And now these accusations come out. Yeah. I don't know. It's it doesn't break my heart, but it does make me feel bad. That's what it does. So I'm going to answer my own question here. The chickens I have sacrificed at Andy altar did not die in vain. Very good. Very good. So I was in college. I was a psych major in college. And I went to, I was hanging out at this girl's dorm room. And one of her dorm mates had this sign, this poster on her door. And it was a quote by Thomas Aquinas. And the quote was, "Nothing is good or bad unto itself. It is the use that makes it so." Nothing is bad, evil, in and of itself. It is the use that makes it so. So I want to try to believe that fandom isn't evil unto itself, but at times, that's a heavy argument. That's a heavy argument. And I think that there is real danger in making statues, making idols out of people who you admire. It's difficult. Oh, we're talking about sacrificing chickens in the chat. This has, I just want to let you all know early that Sunday night show at 10:30, it's going to be lit. Is that what the kids say? It's going to be lit. It's not going to be low-key lit. It's just going to be lit. We got Lucian Greaves coming on. We got the co-founder of the Satanic Temple. Satanic Temple, they're doing a huge event over the next coming days for Lupercalia. I think that's what they call it. Lupercalia, which is their Valentine's Day. But Lucian's going to be here, a bunch of other atheists, a bunch of other Satanists. It's going to be crazy. 10:30 this Sunday, Lucian Greaves, a bunch of other Satanists, and we're just going to roll. We're just going to roll, and we're going to talk about the celebration, about what's going on with the Satanic Temple, and it's going to be, dare I use the word, a hoot. A hoot, a hoot. Remember Sandy Jenkins. I forged an Andy idol, and it sits in my Satanic Temple next to the altar. Lupercalia, thank you. I thought I had it right. Lupercalia, that's right. Hail Satan, Doc. Right. So that's what we're doing. 10:30 on Sunday. And yeah, we're going to be, I still don't like how my screen's acting. I still don't like. Is it me? Is it my screen? I don't know. What are the stories we're covering? Let me look at the set list. We have, we're talking about evangelicals today. We're talking about evangelicals. The food line in Glasgow, Scotland. The impeachment. We have to talk about the impeachment. And of course, we're going to be talking about Joss Whedon. We're going to start off with Joss Whedon. We're going to end off with Joss Whedon. We're bookcasing, because that's what they call it in the business. We're bookcasing the show with Joss Whedon. Just to let you know, Rage, he usually does Rage, my buddy. Does he do the sister show, the brother show? I don't know. He does a show after I'm finished. He usually starts at about 10:30. It's going to be later today. There's some kind of appointment he has to go do. So his show isn't starting at 10:30. It's going to be a bit after that. Oh, look. Thank you, Sammy. Looking fresh. Excellent. Oh, Simply Secular. I was driving behind a car with a Satanist emblem in the middle of the back window yesterday. Very nice. Very nice. All right. All right. Let's go to we got to get rid of this. And now we're going to get to the funny stuff. Other funny things. If you were here yesterday, you saw the cat video about the lawyer. It was hilarious. If I do say so myself, I mean, I didn't make the cat video. I just shared it with you. And most of you know the story that blew up the internet about the lawyer who couldn't get the cat filter off his Zoom call while he was in court. So here's a little meme I found. I found it on Reddit. In legal trouble, call lawyer cat. I'm here live. I'm not a cat. 1-800-ADVOCAT. It's so funny. And what I love about this meme, they got the eyes right. The desperation in the eyes, the sadness in the eyes, and the droopy ears. Oh, that's just perfect. That is perfect. And if you are in legal trouble, you can call Lawyer Cat, 1-800-ADVOCAT. That's the kind of cat. That's the kind of lawyer I want. And you can make a whole animated series, I think. You can make a whole animated series about Advocat, about the lawyer cat. I think it would be hilarious. And if someone isn't trying to get the rights for lawyer cat, it's a shame. I think it'd be hilarious. Good morning, Jess M. Dr. Mordecai. Oh, I want cat filter too, to tell you the truth. All right. He also Gary Priestley. He also gives a paw. He also gives the paw a discount. Very nice, very nice. All right. Let's see what the next funny is. The next comical bit. Political in nature. We might as well, laugh through the tears, so to speak, of the current situation in Washington, D.C. Here it is. We find the president innocent by reason we don't care if he's guilty. We find the president innocent by reason of we don't care if he's guilty. And that's just true. I mean, yeah, it's funny, kind of, sort of, but it's just the truth. Many of the Republican senators just don't care. And so that's why they're going to vote to acquit him. As sad as that is, it is true. We're going to be covering, of course, the senators who thought they had to fluff up the defense team. That's the story we're going to be covering in a few minutes. I like Venn diagrams. They're diagrams I can understand. Other diagrams I find difficulty with, but there's something about the good old-fashioned Venn diagram that resonates with me. Let's check out what this diagram says. Tell me why is at the center circle, the center, the middle, that covers all of these groups: Backstreet Boys, philosophy professors, and 3-year-olds. They are all asking that question, tell me why. I'm not going to sing the Backstreet Boys. I think most of us who've survived that dark period in musical history remember that song. And of course, many of us have been in philosophy class before and have heard the tell me why question from our professors. And 3-year-olds, if you haven't been around a 3-year-old, let me tell you, there's a lot of whys. There's a lot of whys going on there. All right. Simply Secular. So is the cat lawyer working for Trump? I heard that he was fee-lying. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. That is inspired. That's inspired. Simply Secular. Well done with that. Fee-lying. Oh, that's. Oh, now more puns. If you sign on with a lawyer cat, Make sure you remember to read the contract clause. Oh, remember Sammy Jenkins. Yeah, that's right. That's right. Yeah, that was, yeah, I try. Well done, chat, in terms of feline puns. All right. I lack fandom for Backstreet Boys. So do I. I do. The songs there are somewhere in my brain, and I'm sure that they're taking up valuable space that I could be putting other important facts in. But yeah, there's Backstreet Boys songs in my head. All right, that's the three jokes. Now we're going to go to the story about evangelicals. This isn't going to surprise anyone. If you're a regular watcher, a regular viewer, or if you've just been paying attention to life here in the United States of America, this story from Newsweek is not going to surprise you. Let's check it out. White evangelicals are more likely to believe in QAnon than any other faith group, poll finds. Evangelicals that form the militant base of Donald Trump's political base, that's redundant, really like QAnon. They really feed into that particular conspiracy theory. Let's check out the story. Let's check out the numbers. I should say that all the links to the stories are in the description below. So I can only give you snippets of these stories. So you can read the full story by clicking on the description. Well, the links in the description. So white evangelicals are more likely than any other faith group to buy into the QAnon craziness. White evangelical Protestants are more likely than any other religious group to believe in the QAnon conspiracy theory that claims former Donald Trump is fighting a global ring of sex-trafficking pedophiles, according to a new poll. In the survey conducted by the American Enterprise Institute, AEI, 27% of white evangelicals said it was mostly or completely accurate to say that Trump has been secretly fighting a group of child sex traffickers that include prominent Democrats and Hollywood elites. That percentage is higher than any other faith group surveyed, and more than double the support for QAnon beliefs among Black Protestants, Hispanic Catholics, and non-Christians, according to the data shared Thursday with Newsweek. It's almost as if QAnon is a conspiracy theory almost engineered to fit into the evangelical mindset. From the same people who brought you the satanic panic in the 80s, we have QAnon. Because, of course, during the 80s, and during the 90s, you had the satanic panic, which say that there was a vast underground satanic pedophile ring. And it just seems to have morphed into this QAnon conspiracy craziness that evangelicals are just, eating up more so than any other faith group. And I was actually surprised it was only this low, that it was 27% of white evangelicals said it was mostly or completely accurate. I was surprised it was that low. But when you think about it, those are the most motivated voters out there. They are the most motivated advocates. They are the ones most likely to be violent. Obviously, after January 6th, we've seen how QAnon conspiracy, that theory, inspired people to act violently. So even though it's only 27% of white evangelicals, we have gone over so many times on this channel, and let me bang the drum again, that violent, organized, well-funded groups steer policy. Those are the groups that really affect the majority in terms of getting things done in the society. Whether you're talking about Bolsheviks back in Tsarist Russia, or today with Tea Party, QAnon people, you can see the power of QAnon and Trump even now, even after the riot. We can see that play out in the impeachment process, in the Senate trial. Chat. We'll see what's going on in the chat. Oh, hey there, God is a conspiracy, so that makes sense. Indeed. Goldie Mickens, MSW. You don't have to tell me that. My wife's side of the family that's Christian buy into every conspiracy theory out there, but they live in West Virginia too. Yeah. Hey, Fi, how you doing? How you doing? Oh, hey, Gary Priestley. Look at you. I'm going to make a prophecy. Andy is going to talk about the heartbreaking picture of snowy food bank queue that goes viral. You are correct. You may have looked at the description. I don't know. Maybe. Possibly. Oh, of course, I just said it like a few minutes ago. Brain bug. The whole report saying that white evangelicals buy into the QAnon conspiracy more so than any other faith group. That whole report to tell us water is wet, indeed. If, in case you need any more confirmation, any more data to show you that water is wet, that's the report. Rocks are hard too, in related news. Rocks are hard too. Oh, I should, I'm really bad at saying things like, you should please hit the like button if you're, watching now or later. Or if you're some kind of time traveling master able to see this in the past, please hit the like button. It helps. It helps. All right. All right. You can read my mind. Very good. Although that might be a scary thing in and of itself, Gary Priestley. All right. So let's go to the next story, which is about the food line. This isn't a food line in America either. I just want to say that. Here in the States, you'll see people lining up for food, at the food pantries. We've seen pictures of that in, maybe in Texas, in some states. There have been pictures of people in their cars waiting to get food or people waiting in lines to get food. There's a food pantry down the street from where I live. And there are people regularly just in line waiting to get basic supplies to nourish themselves and their family. Heartbreaking picture of snowy food bank queue goes viral. I believe this is a BBC story. Now you can tell by just the word queue as against to line that this is probably, one, it's a BBC story. And what's surprising about this story, at least surprising to those of us here in the States, at least, I don't want to speak for everyone here in the United States of America, but this is the kind of stuff you'd expect to see here. And even though, I've been to Glasgow once, and I know that's kind of a hard city, right? I was surprised at seeing this particular picture of people in a food line in a snowstorm. What is going on, Scotland? What is going on in the UK? Because I don't know. I don't know. Let's see what the BBC story says. I find this shocking. Just shocking. It's shocking the fact that it isn't happening here in the States, but it's happening over in the UK or in Scotland. Sorry, Scottish people. A photo of hundreds of people queuing in the snow for food in a soup kitchen in Glasgow has gone viral after social media users lamented the inaction of the government in tackling the worsening poverty crisis. The image of the Queues for Kindness Homeless Street Team's soup kitchen in Glasgow's George Square has been shared thousands of times on social media after the community group revealed 220 people braved snow and sub-zero temperatures for help on Monday. How desperate do you have to be to wait in line in this weather to get food? You have to be pretty freaking desperate. That's how much. Let's go on with the sad story. Posting on Facebook, Grammy Weir compared it to some Eastern European country that's been decimated by years of communist rule, saying that long queues filled him with rage. I know some of these people personally, and most of them are good people who have just hit a wee bump in the road. We as a civilized and caring nation need to step up, he said. Even if you can give a little mutual respect, to smile and say hello next time you see a homeless person, trust me, it can be enough to turn their life around. Well, it can help. It can help. But let us not forget the basic principle that when people rely on private charities, it is a sign that the government isn't doing its job. I want to re-say that again for everyone who hasn't heard this before. Private charity is a sign that the government is not doing its job. Think about it like this. Here in the United States of America, if the military decided that, hey, we need a nonprofit agency to get us some money for a new aircraft carrier, you'd be like, well, shouldn't the government be taking care of that? Shouldn't the government be taking care of getting a new aircraft carrier or feeding the soldiers, the military personnel on the aircraft carrier? It's the same thing with any other kind of social service. It's like, if you're relying on private charities to feed the homeless, to feed the needy, then that means you are failing. You are getting failing grades as a government. Okay. That's my subdued rant. The story continues. Andy Lockhart, the managing director of the finance company who volunteers for Kindness Homeless Community Group, also shares his frustration, saying, if the community group didn't exist, many people would have nowhere else to go. Monday was a particularly busy night for us, he told The Big Issue. We served between 200 and 220 people. On Wednesday, I reckon we will only see, and I say this only because the numbers are so big, around 100 to 100 people tonight. I think it's pretty scandalous. We're living in a society where poverty is on our doorstep and people are having to traipse out into the city center to receive support from a community group. It is scandalous. It is. No country, no people should have to do that in a snowstorm, to wait outside to get food. The problem is that if we don't do it, then who's going to? Exactly. It's about stepping up to the mantle and making sure that these people are supported and services are provided to them. Kindness Homeless Street Team has been running a soup kitchen operation throughout the pandemic, operating 4 nights a week, even when temperatures hit -2 degrees Celsius, as they did on Monday night. Below zero, for those of us using the Fahrenheit, below zero, people out in the snow just trying to get food. Let's see, chat. Yeah, Gary Priestley. Living wage should not rely on tips from customers. It's you just have to say it out loud. And this is why it's so important, just to say basic truths like this out loud. Living wage should not rely upon tips from customers. Oh, this is interesting. The voluntary sector works closely with the local authority. It's different from the U.S. So is the voluntary, so the soup kitchen is being funded by the government? I'm curious about that, Wild Eden. Oh, yeah. Because that would be interesting if the shelter itself is getting taxpayer money from Scotland. Yeah, indeed. I've always felt the same way about tipping in the U.S. The minimum wage is too low. Yeah, it's not, even if the minimum wage gets brought up to $15 an hour, that is still not a living wage. As someone who has made $15 an hour, as a person who has made less than $15 an hour, that is not a living wage. You have to work and hustle and grind out 2 or 3 jobs to actually make ends meet. And right, I said, even affluent countries have poverty. It's just shameful that affluent countries allow this to occur. Right. And the thing is, and once again, well, this is an interesting question. Is this Brexit related? I'm not sure. I've heard stories, and we've talked about, I don't know if we've talked about some of the issues about Brexit here. I believe we have. And I definitely have on this channel about the economic consequences of Brexit. That the country is going to be suffering. The UK is going to be suffering from Brexit. But I don't know if this is a direct effect from Brexit. The local authority has more responsible to its citizens than the U.S. Well, no. What I am curious about is whether or not the food bank is completely paid by the government, or whether or not it is a what we would consider over here a non-government organization, NGO. Let's see what else is going on here. Wild Eden says, well, he's talking to Brainbug. COVID has hit Scotland hard, and a lot of businesses have closed, which had a big impact. Yep. Brainbug, interesting observation. Working for tips is the best analogy for conservatism. If you don't earn a living wage, then it's your fault. You didn't work hard enough. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Oh, well, conservatism, much like Christianity, most flavors of Christianity is all about blaming the victim. If you are not doing well, then you have done something wrong. The most ridiculous example of this, biblically speaking, is, of course, the book of Job, where Job is doing nothing wrong. God/Satan, those two, they're teaming up, basically kills off Job's relatives, takes all his stuff. And people say, you must have done something wrong, Job. And Job's like, no, I didn't do anything wrong. See, here it is. The local authority works in partnership with voluntary organizations who often have more funds than the authority. Yeah, there's something wrong with that calculation right there. So what have we gone through so far? It's already halfway through the show. Oh, there's no mistaking, Wild Eden, that the system over there is far better than over here. Here is some kind of neoliberal Lord of the Flies situation. This is late stage capitalism here, Lord of the Flies scenario. People just can't even get COVID-19 relief sent through the legislature. There's no doubt that it is far better over there than over here. All right. Before we hit the halfway point, before we hit the halftime show, yeah, we do a halftime show here. We've gone over evangelicals, many evangelicals supporting QAnon as per a new study. And of course, the food line over in Glasgow. What is the halftime show going to be? Let's see. I've got so many choices. Let's take a look at this funny little bit.
So I bet you wish you'd voted Trump now, you bunch of fucking socialist punks.
Could you please tell me why you're an angry white man? Since you voted for Trump, was it mild or the blind? You've been riding his job since 2016. Now you got unemployment and COVID-19. Now you're bitching, you're moaning, you're crying, you're cussing. Now that Donald Trump's thrown you under a bus, so that's probably why you're an angry white man.
That was completely different, something completely different there. I found it fitting. I like the little song, the little play on the song there. There's a pun within a pun. But I thought that would work well. Hey, James Henry, how you doing? Right? That was a nice, short little commentary on people complaining, or certain people complaining about the bad treatment Donald J. Trump's getting. All right, so what's the next story? Oh, man, I lost my set list. What's the set list next? We're going to talk about impeachment. Of course, we have to talk about impeachment. We're going to have to do that because it's important. It's important, even if he's not going to get convicted. Because what it does, it shows you the flaws in the system, the flaws within the United States of America here in our government system. The story, 3 GOP senators meet with Trump's lawyers on eve of impeachment defense presentation. So Trump's defense team hasn't been doing too well. At least that's in the opinion of Donald J. Trump, too. We covered a few days ago that Trump was, quote unquote, at the verge of yelling about what a poor job he felt the defense team was doing in opening arguments. So I'm wondering whether or not these 3 senators decided to meet with the defense team because they needed to be fluffed up a bit, because they felt that they needed a way to go over their strategy, maybe, or some pointers, so that these Trump defense lawyers wouldn't completely drop the ball, so to speak, as the defense makes its case. And who are these senators? 3? The senators who are acting as jurors, who are telling the defense team how to best work the case. Who are these three people? I think we can all guess. Even if you don't know who they are right now, you can all guess who the scoundrels are. Oh, South Carolina Senator Lindsey Graham, Texas Senator Ted Cruz, Utah Senator Mike Lee, and of course, here's key GOP senators who are also Trump jurors meet privately with Trump's lawyers. I just want to make this observation. I saw Ted Cruz the other day without a beard. And I came to this realization. I said to myself, when he had a beard, I thought, oh, my fictitious God, Ted Cruz could not look any more creepy. I saw him yesterday without a beard. And I said, wait a minute. Oh, my fictitious God, he couldn't look more creepy without a beard. Maybe Ted Cruz just looks creepy. Maybe. Maybe it's just the vibe he gives off. But beard or no beard, still creeps me out. That's all I can say. This is my personal testimony about Ted Cruz. He creeps me out with or without a beard. Let's check out the story. A trio of Republican senators allied with former President Donald Trump met with his defense team Thursday evening in the middle of an impeachment trial in which they will vote on whether to convict Trump and potentially bar him from holding public office again. Senator Lindsey Graham of South Carolina, speaking in tongues again, Ted Cruz of Texas, and Mike Lee of Utah were spotted going into a room in the U.S. Capitol that Trump's lawyers were using to prepare for their arguments. Trump lawyer David Schoen, I'm going to go with that pronunciation, said that the senators were, quote, very friendly guys, unquote, who just wanted to make sure they were familiar with the procedure. On the eve of the rebuttal to the House impeachment manager's presentation, when asked if it's appropriate to meet with the senators during the trial, Trump's lawyer Schoen said, oh, yeah, I think that's a practice. I think that's the practice. And if it isn't, then we're going to do it anyway, because, that's what we do here. Cruz said the meeting with the Trump defense team was an opportunity for sharing our thoughts about their legal strategy. A wide array of Senate Republicans harshly criticized the defense team on Tuesday, the opening day of the trial, arguing that the Trump attorney, Bruce Castor, had delivered a rambling and unfocused argument in making the case that the proceedings are unconstitutional. When asked if he's now comfortable with the Trump team's legal strategy, Cruz said, I think the end result of this impeachment trial is crystal clear to everybody. Okay, so let's read between the lines. Cruz is not happy with the Trump defense team, but it doesn't matter anyway. It just doesn't matter anyway. Donald Trump will be acquitted, he said. It takes 67 votes to convict him, and every person in the Senate chamber understands that there are not the votes to convict, nor should they be. Well, that's a little editorializing. I think the idea that there's a general consensus that there aren't enough votes, but whether or not he should be convicted, that's an extrapolation. That's an unfounded assertion there, Ted. Creepy Ted. Creepy Ted. Let's see what's going on with chat. Oh, here we go. Brainbug on point, as always. Cruz is an insurrection sympathizer, enabler, and most importantly, an instigator. He needs to be charged. He does. He does. He does. That's it. Ted Cruz, a Zodiac killer, indeed. Well, James Henry, it's so absurd that you have to say it out loud, that it needs to be said to begin with, right? It just seems absurd. Like, I don't know, once again, rocks are hard, water's wet. People should know that. The idea that jurors advising the defense counsel is insane and it should be illegal. It just shouldn't happen. I don't think it would happen in a regular court of law. Oh, what's that quote? I'm going to bring out my Thucydides. I think it's Herodotus. It isn't Herodotus. I think it's Thucydides who made the comment. I think it was during the Peloponnesian War. The strong do what they will. The weak suffer what they must. And it is an observation. It is wrong, but it is all true. Too often, the fact that those in power will do what they will without any check on them. Gives me the angers. It gives me the angers in my heart. I think Trump has shown us many things that are not yet should be legal. Oh, yes. If I'm sure that there are papers, there are peer-reviewed papers with graphs about how Donald J. Trump has been a stress test to the American government and how, he's no longer president, so that's positive. But you can't really give the system of government here in the States a passing grade, right? Or if you do give it a passing grade, maybe it's like a D or a D minus. It's enough for you to pass the course, but that's, you're on life support basically. Yeah, Cruz and Hawley must be censured at the very least. Yeah, there was trending on Twitter yesterday about that Hawley fellow. It was not very complimentary to him, which is good. He's obviously abetting fascists at the very least. All right, so that's what's going on. More impeachment today. The defense is pleading their case with the help, of course, of those 3 Republican senators, given some tips by Ted Cruz and Lindsey Graham. All right, what's the last? Oh, Joss Whedon. It saddens my heart. That's what it is. It saddens my heart, but I'm going to talk about Joss Whedon. Michelle Trachtenberg says there was a rule on the Buffy set that Joss Whedon could not be alone with her. It's a poorly written headline. Because when you read the headline, it makes you think that Joss Whedon could not be left alone with Michelle Trachtenberg. This is not true. What is actually true is that there was an unwritten rule on the set of Buffy that Joss Whedon could not be alone with Michelle Gellar, who is the star of Buffy. Let's check out this. And once again, this is on the 2nd, 3rd day of this rolling out scandal about Joss Whedon. I can say genius because I think that Joss Whedon, in terms of storytelling, ability to write scripts, I think he is incredibly talented. But apparently he's a monster. Let's go with this. Michelle Trachtenberg has updated a statement on the accusations against Joss Whedon, the actress who played Dawn Summers from 2000 to 2003, is adding, to the previous statement she made in the wake of her co-star's allegations against the series creator. On Thursday, Trachtenberg 35 said that there was a rule on the Buffy set that Whedon 56 could not be left alone with her, which is Michelle Gellar, after an unnamed incident. Now, here's the thing about these rules, right? If you have a crazy rule like so-and-so can't be left alone with this other person in the same room, that's because something crazy happened. That's because something inappropriate happened. This is something that she wrote. It's not in the best English, but she might have been very emotional at the time when she was writing about this. The last comment I will make on this, there was a rule saying he's not allowed to be in a room alone with Michelle again, she wrote. The Gossip Girl actress did not go into detail about what led to the alleged rule or who enacted it. A rep for Whedon did not immediately respond to people's requests for comment regarding Trachtenberg's statement she made Thursday. Trachtenberg's original post was a repost of star Sarah Michelle Gellar's statement, which she said she did not want to be associated with Whedon and that she stands, quote, with all the survivors of abuse, and I'm proud for them for speaking out. It's obvious the reason why people aren't talking about specific incidences is because no one wants to get sued. No one wants to get sued. Because even if you win the lawsuit, you're going to pay a lot of money. You're going to pay a lot of money just in lawyers' fees, even if you win. James Henry, what? Yeah. There's, yeah, right, girlfriend? If you've ever been on a set, if you've ever interacted with film people, the director on the set can have dictatorial godlike powers. And if there's anything that we've learned, my friends, is that the office of God should be abolished. That as soon as you start giving us one of us monkeys, one of us great apes, unfettered control, then things start going crazy. As soon as there are no checks and balances, then things get nuts. And it's just part of our crazy reptilian brain. And that there should always be someone watching the watchmen, so to speak. There should always be someone making sure, and there should be another person making sure that person's doing their job. There should be an interlocking series of checks and balances. And when you have a system where there's billions of dollars, oh, Gully Mickens, thank you very much. English be hard, English be hard. But when you have, thanks for the super chat, once again. Well, James Henry, it implies something like crazy happened. Once again, Gully Mickens, thank you very much. It implies something crazy. It implies something crazy. So, if you had 10, people who become directors, they have probably some control issues to begin with, right? Because you don't become a director unless you have the artistic vision and you want to control things. But once again, when there's hundreds of millions of dollars at stake on a set and there's no checks and balances and there's so much riding on it, it's just a natural environment for out of control egos to abuse people. And there need to be checks and balances. There need to be some kind of ethical restraints on directors, any directors, every directors. The idea that the director can do nearly anything that they want to on set, it's madness. That's what it is. Brain bug. In Buffy, the Watchers had a council to watch the Watchers. Still got corrupted. That's the thing, right? That's the thing. There's no system. Let's face it. There's no system that can out-monkey us monkeys, right? Every system is going to have problems. The thing is to try to build a resilient enough system, right? A resilient enough system to overall manage the insanity. We shouldn't let the perfect be the enemy of the good, of course, right? I always love saying that. So there are definitely ways of managing egos far better than the type of management or non-management system that we have now on sets. See, there we go. Simply Secular. I see what you did there. 2 people in teeter-totter in Prague, checks and balances. Bam! Day for puns, everyone. Day for puns. And I am overly anxious about my screen. Maybe that's like an obsessive quality for me. So yeah, what have we covered? Let's go over the list. Evangelicals being in support of Donald J. Trump. White evangelicals. Food line in Glasgow, the sad story of that. Impeachment, 3 Republican senators who obviously don't feel confident enough for Trump's defense team, and feels like they need to be fluffed up a bit. And Joss Whedon. What the F, Joss Whedon? What the F? It is just right? Don't, once again, I'm going to recommit myself of being a Second Commandment atheist and try not to make idols out of people, because apparently idols suck. They will eventually let you down. All right. We're going to stop off. We're going to finish up the show. I don't even know what funny little thing I'm going to be doing here. Let me take a look. Oh, this is funny. This is going to put a smile on your face. This is Friday. We talked about a bunch of crazy stories, but I want to leave you all off with something to smile about, right? Something to feel happy about. Let's check out this funny little bit. love those guys. I mean, this just shows you how wonderfully stupid comedy is. Because people will tell, you'll tell a joke to someone, and they'll say, if they don't like the joke, they'll wrinkle up their nose. This is the universal sign of disgust. If you didn't know this about people, every culture, every time, from what I understand, the universal sign of disgust is wrinkling up the nose. They'll say, that's stupid. But you see, the idea about stupidity, it's not an idios. It's baked into the system. Comedy is based on stupidity. Some of it is, at least, absurdity. And so, yeah, just banging the dome, the on the head, that's just magic. That's just a little bit of elven magic right there. See, wow, see, right. So you answer the question you answer the question by asking it, LOL, why the balls on the head? But the important thing, Wild Eden, is that it's funny because you don't understand, because it's so odd, not expected. Oh, magic tricks. I mean, a lot of us who are atheists, I went through a magic stage, right? So there's a lot of similarity between magic, stage magic, and comedy. You just do something unexpected, and you get the ha-ha response somewhere from the reptilian brain, somewhere, and then in your brain it goes unexpected, but that's funny somehow. I don't know why it's funny. Someone hitting someone else on the bowl on their head with a wooden spoon, but I find it hilarious, at least, and other people have too. Because because it's a hi-hat. There you go. On fire as always. That's magic right there. Oh, puns. Nothing but puns this morning. Nothing. Oh, wait a minute. Let me go with Gary Priest. They were trying to drum up a sponsor from the lucrative bowl manufacturer. Oh yeah, just think about all the endorsements they can get from Big Bowl. Oh, wait. It's someone's birthday. See, it's difficult for me to manage whatever I have for material, as well as manage the chat at the same time. But it looks like it's Vesta's birthday this weekend. One day before I turn 65. Congratulations on turning 65. I aspire to be that age someday, as long as, nothing happens to me before now and then. But happy birthday. Now, happy birthday, since your birthday's tomorrow, but happy birthday. All right, let's see. Bunch of puns. It's a good job today, chat. Good job today with the puns. Good job with sharing laughs, information. Yeah. So what am I doing? I'm playing Jenga today at 3 p.m. like I usually do. It's very meditative for me, or not. Sometimes I make jokes. Sometimes people in the chat make jokes. We share stories. We share. It's more of an open format, right? Because here there are certain stories that we talk about. But when I'm playing Jenga, we can talk about anything. Basically, we can talk about anything. And once again, on Sunday at 10:30 p.m., Lucian Greaves, co-founder of the Satanic Temple, he's coming on. A bunch of other atheists. I think this is the most people I've had on this channel at once. We're expecting like 5 or 6 people on. And so I think it's just going to be nutty. 10:30 p.m. Eastern time on Sunday night. Rage. He is running his show today, but it's going to be later than usual. He has a thing he has to do. So he usually does a show at 10:30. It's going to be later. Check out your notifications or head over to his channel and find out when he's going to be streaming. He's a good guy. Festa. It's great, Great that you're turning 65. Like I said, I aspire to be 65 someday. And so, goodbye, everybody. Have a good weekend. If we don't see each other, am I going to be playing Battleship with my girlfriend this weekend on Saturday? Probably. I think it's going to be some fun. And it's a whole new game to explore. I think she's going to beat me. She's a lot smarter than I am. And she's much more visually, spatially smart, too. End pose, indeed. Here we go. See you later. Be strong. Be good. Or at least try. And I think we're going to go with a